As Halloween approached this year, a series of real-life horror stories unfolded in police departments across the country, where some of America's so-called finest showed an uncanny commitment to Halloween themes. If Halloween was about giving the public a scare, this month brought us chilling stories of officers trading in their badges for rap sheets, facing arrests and convictions that might make even hardened villains shudder. Starting in Washington, D.C., we learned about Ehren Fluellyn, a special police officer who allegedly let his fists do the talking. Federal prosecutors say Fluellen launched an unprovoked attack on a detained person, kicking, punching, and striking the restrained individual without legal cause. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison, a treat he may not have been hoping for this Halloween season. And if we thought that was grim, the story only darkens. Maurice Vanderpool, a former officer in Fairmount Heights, Maryland, was recently convicted of obstruction of justice after reportedly filing a false report to cover up an assault on a 19-year-old woman in custody. Prosecutors say he took the woman to an empty police station and sexually assaulted her. Vanderpool could face up to 20 years behind bars. It sounds like the plot of a horror movie, but this was no work of fiction. Meanwhile, in Louisville, Kentucky, former detective Brett Henerson was convicted on federal charges tied to the 2020 raid that killed Breonna Taylor. Henerson's conviction, the first to bring federal accountability in Taylor's case, followed jurors' decision on his actions that night. They concluded his firing of 10 blind shots into Taylor's apartment not only cost Taylor her life, but also endangered her neighbors. His conviction brings a haunting reminder of the deep scars left on Taylor's family and community. The disturbing stories continue in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer Dylan Linberger was arrested on a harassment charge issued in South Carolina. Following his arrest in North Carolina, he's currently awaiting extradition. As Linberger's case awaits further action, his department has placed him on unpaid leave. Next, in Bowie, Maryland, Sergeant Robert Warrington faces charges for what sounds like a Halloween horror short. A man reportedly approached him just to retrieve his hat, and in response, Warrington fired a shot, hitting a passing minivan. He's now indicted for attempted second-degree murder, facing potential jail time as his actions await trial. Moving south to Virginia, in Staunton, Virginia, Augusta County, Deputy Sheriff C.J. Taylor copped a plea to assaulting 2 police auditors. It is fair to say Taylor failed his audit. He also has to do a year of probation and good behavior. Further south, Amari McCree, an officer in Clayton County, Georgia, is also under arrest, accused of tipping off a felon about their warrants. Facing charges for computer invasion of privacy and violating her oath as a public officer, McCree was released from jail earlier this month. Her return to law enforcement, however, seems as likely as the leftover Halloween candy making it to Thanksgiving. In Akron, Ohio, former officer Jeffrey Parker's court appearance during this Halloween season added an unholy twist to an already chilling story. He faces charges for child exploitation crimes and multiple counts of abuse, with a potential 65-year prison sentence awaiting him. His case paints him as a figure more monstrous than anything seen in Halloween fiction. In Okemah, Oklahoma, Officer David Young's alleged DUI incident could be straight out of a Halloween comedy, if it weren't real. Police reportedly found Young with a wrecked truck and open beer cans. In a bizarre attempt to cover up, he allegedly used Febreze on the scene, insisting he hadn't left the bar. Young's badge may soon be a relic of the past, as his department considers his future in law enforcement. Over in Pineville, Louisiana, Officer Lacy Fields was arrested just before Halloween for domestic abuse and aggravated assault after a heated argument reportedly escalated to battery and gunfire. She's currently on administrative leave while her department investigates. And rounding out this October horror, Officer John Bergos in Jacksonville, Florida, faces allegations of false imprisonment and battery after reportedly touching a crime victim without consent and preventing her from leaving. Bergos, now suspended without pay, might soon be the one on the other side of the jail cell. The Halloween season usually brings thrillers to the big screen, but this October has brought real-life horrors in the form of police misconduct across the nation. For every officer doing their job honorably, stories like these serve as a reminder of how quickly the badge can be tarnished. As Halloween ends, many are left hoping that these real-life horrors can be left behind for good, where they belong. To stay up to date on the latest police corruption news, subscribe to Breaking Through News on the Newsbreak app or at breakingthrough.com.